And away we go.
Alright, so, what's in the news?
Well, let's start from square one, like we always do.
Of course, what is on square one? And how can we, well, what's the talk about? That's what I'm trying to say. What
Okay.
is on square one? What can we talk about?
DoorDash delivery driver pleads guilty to stealing $2.5 million in delivery scam.
Oh wow. I'm pretty sure a sensible person would have stopped at 1.5 million. But he got greedy. Also, how did he steal that much money from Uber specifically?
Well, Sei Chaitanya Reddy Devagiri, a DoorDash delivery driver, pleaded guilty Tuesday to conspiring to steal over $2.5 million in San Jose federal court.
I mean,
Devagiri and three others used stolen employee credentials between 2020 and 2021 to manipulate DoorDash's system and file false delivery reports.
gotcha. Okay, so they pretty much conspired. They pretty much conspired to steal the money, and they filed for false deliveries and got paid for those false deliveries. Okay. Well, I will say this: although stealing is wrong, DoorDash delivery people do not make that much money. Still, what they did was absolutely wrong. They could have honestly gotten another job or another side hustle. But I'll be honest, if you got to like at least half a million or a million, 1 million exactly, you should have stopped right there so you would not have gotten caught. Although I would not recommend anybody to do that. But you know, um, hey, could have been worse. They could have just denied, straight up denied, and be like, "That's not me stealing that money." No, but yeah, it's like either way, it's wrong. It's wrong, and but at the same time, you know, once more, they don't get paid that much to even deliver food. What they get paid like what 15%?
Well, I'm not a delivery driver.
Yeah, me neither. I know they don't get paid. I know that like I think I heard this once. I think delivery drivers take like the company takes 70% and so they get paid like 30%. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how it works when it comes to like delivery driving and Uber Eats and whatnot. But they can't possibly be getting paid a livable wage.
It's just not
That's all I'm gonna
enough.
say. Yeah, it's really not enough. So people just people just do what they think they have to do, and that's steal money from other people who are richer than us. Now
Indeed.
is that the now is that the smartest thing in the world? No, it's not. And just look at Kim Kardashian and the grandpa robbers. Look what they're doing. They might serve more time than what their age is, possibly, or just 10 years, or
Yeah.
just 10 years behind bars. But they're old, so yeah, it's like ultimately there's not really much you can do about that, and yeah, uh, they're getting what they asked for, and that was a definitely a sentence. They're getting what they asked for, so that's all I'm gonna say.
Very true.
Yeah, but yeah, is there anything else in the news?
Germany backs Trump's push for 5% NATO defense spending target.
Wait, hold on. What did they back?
NATO foreign ministers are meeting in Antalya, Antalya on May 14th to 15th to agree on a plan for allies to increase defense spending to 5% of GDP by 2032 ahead of the June summit in The Hague.
Oh man, I'll be honest. I don't even care about that. I'm just wondering what's it gonna be like in 2032. It's probably all still gonna be the same, honestly. But it's exciting. It's exciting to think about. I remember when people thought we were gonna have flying cars around this time. What a huge disappointment. We probably are to like the past generations thinking that the 21st century was gonna be the year of the flying cars. And even if they are, they haven't released them yet.
And if there are flying cars, it's not the kind of flying cars people expect them to be.
That's true. That is more than true. And yeah, I will say this: whatever they do, I just hope nothing. I just hope nothing goes wrong. I just hope nothing goes wrong, and I hope everything goes smoothly. Yeah, because for the most part, man. And you said Trump was involved in this deal, right?
Trump and deal, I've heard.
You said what?
You said something about Trump and a deal.
Sorry, I thought this was like kind of a deal thing that Trump was involved in. Sorry. Anyways, yeah, it's like yeah, like whatever happens with this whole thing, I just hope things go smoothly.
Yeah, the US is already putting their fair share. Why doesn't every other NATO nation do the same?
That's true. That is true. Like and it's only fair to put your piece of the pie in that whole thing. It's only fair. It's only fair.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. Is there anything else in the news?
Yes, there is. Three-eyed sea moth, predator from 506 million years ago, stuns scientists.
Man, scientists are finding a lot of things out now, huh? You said a three-eyed moth? Is
A
that what you
moth.
said?
A three-eyed sea moth.
Sea moth or sea moss?
No, sea moth.
Sea moss.
S-C-A space M-O-T-H.
M-O-T-H. Moth.
Yes.
That's what I said before.
It must be the audio. We're hearing things that aren't there. It's just like we're confusion, you know? It's
Yeah.
messing with our minds.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, the three-eyed sea moth. That's definitely something that's not gonna lie, it's not appealing, but it's definitely interesting.
It is
Huh?
interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting, and it's that old, huh?
Very
Like,
old, yes.
was its bones like carved in some? Like, I'm confused. How did they find this?
So, fossils of Masura reveal detailed internal structures like the nervous system and digestive tract. The discovery of Masura provides insights into the evolution of animals related to modern insects and crabs.
Okay, I see. Okay, I see. So pretty much they just found its bones, and they just pretty much made that scientific discovery.
Yeah,
Okay, got. Okay, understood. Definitely not worth. I mean, it's somewhat worth freaking out. I mean, I personally wouldn't freak out about that because, you know, there were a lot of things that existed before our time. So the fact that a three-eyed sea moth existed somewhere in time doesn't isn't really all that surprising. I mean, what's next? Are they gonna find the bones of a mermaid?
at this point, anything is possible.
Yeah, honestly, in this day and age, anything is possible. Yeah, like I said, what are they gonna find? The bones of a mermaid? A thing that people have been saying that does not exist for thousands and thousands of years. I'll be honest. I will ask this question: if mermaids don't exist, where did they get the idea from? Exactly.
Mer and maid?
Huh?
Mer,
Maybe.
maybe not. Who knows?
That's true. I could grant the fact that someone just kind of pondered up that idea, and ever since then, it's kind of been like a repetitive, like thing, and
Eh,
like
Hello, Risk.
some risk.
not much. What you were saying?
Pretty much, we were talking about things that possibly exist or not. Like for instance, we were talking about a three-eyed moth that existed thousands of years ago, and then somehow we got to mermaids. Don't know. Yeah, but anyways, yeah, it's like I'm saying, like anything. Pretty much my main thing is like anything is like possible to discover nowadays. The technology that we have with like
There's, if I remember correctly, there were skeletons of a very, very large man, very, very tall man that looked at the skeletons of a giant at one point.
yeah. Yeah, I do to a degree believe that giants
In
could have
certain
existed.
parts in the Bible, if I remember correctly, the forbidden chapters of Enoch that were taken out by the Christian church, there were talks of giants and creatures
Yeah.
called Nephilim.
Oh yeah, I
And
definitely
angels.
I definitely heard of that, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if people who were bigger than us at one point existed.
I wouldn't be surprised just from genetics. I saw a guy a couple days ago that looked like really tall. He made Korean people, and they're known to be tiny. Look, no offense to the Korean people, we love them. They're a great ally. We love them. They're smart. They're awesome.
They have great
But
technology
in reality,
too.
they're fucking tiny, and we're fine. But the thing is, we're massive as well. I love Koreans. I love Koreans. I personally think that we should all learn to speak the same language. So what do you guys think about what's going on in South Africa?
I think
Well, I
I
think
think I have heard of that, right? I think they said like something about a ban on like, right?
No, they're looking. What was it?
I've heard stories that there have been millions of crosses along some major highway that represents a white South African farmer that has been unalived at some point recently.
Yeah,
I'm
they
not
can do
gonna
whatever
lie.
the fuck they want, but again, if you ever touch a fucking hair on a white person, we'll fucking nuke you into the ground.
Yeah,
Remember,
like
the Western powers, America and England, have nukes. Same with France. You might think we're separate nations, but the English, the French, the German, the Dutch, we're all one fucking nation under God. And we have no problem in nuking. And
I will
besides,
say,
I think it wouldn't be surprised if we even fucking take them, colonize them again. It'll come to that.
I will say this, man. A whole new race war has like just broke out on as of late, and it's kind of sad. Not gonna lie.
It really is. But
I mean,
the thing is, the African government, right? They are becoming more and more racist. As much as they, and
yeah,
we hate, and there's some people that hate Trump. I seriously think that they're becoming more communist.
yeah. I
I'm
don't condone
concerned.
it. I personally don't condone any racism from any group of
Yeah,
people, including my own. That's
even,
terrible.
but Africans have always been weird. Like they're not even there. Their infrastructure is almost dead. They're not a functioning society, and I can guarantee 20 years time from now they're going to break out. Who knows what will happen in Africa?
That's true.
I'm worried
That
about the
is.
fact that this shit might come over here because the amount of people are over. Who knows? I love Asia. I love Asia. I love India.
I don't
The
know.
thing is though, the thing is,
Personally,
these African, South Africans, and these African nations, they think that China's going to help them. They're not going to help them. They're going to help themselves. And we're not going to fucking help them because, quite honestly, it would be detrimental to our own existence. We'll give you crumbs,
you,
but we're not going to give you fucking power. It's going to fucking make us a minority in our own nations. We're not going to give you the economic power to freaking make yourselves superpowers. Africa, people say, "Oh, Africa's going to become a rich country." It will never become rich. There's too many fucking financial powers that be that will make it so it never happens. Am I right, Jamie?
Well, can't say you're wrong. You're
There's
onto
too
something.
many people that want Africa to be poor so they can mine and devalue their currency to make money. It's sad, but it's the truth.
And
I
the
feel like
truth
there's certain
hurts in
people that want
some
Britain
way.
to be down. I feel there's certain people that want Britain to be like that, though. But who knows? So what else is there?
Let's see.
So what's
12
going
year old.
on in China?
Well, the same old, I guess.
Any likely chance that the Chinese CCP will be ousted?
Not for a few more years.
How many more years?
30.
30!
30.
30!
So,
You think
Did,
30 years?
did you say
The
30 or
people
30?
are on fucking nearly starving. They're having to resort to fucking. At a certain point, they're having to resort to fucking begging out the street on food stalls.
it's shocking.
Like, how much fucking more can they fucking put up with? Like, God.
Question is, how long can they convince people that China is a nation that's striving for progress?
But it's
It doesn't
not!
have. But not many people know that.
The vast majority know that China's fucked.
But what are they going to do about that?
The CCP have lied. There's people realizing that China's full of shit. Like half the shit they buy online from China's fake. Their fucking Belt and Road initiative's more fake. Their secret Belt and Road initiative that China plouds about and says, "Oh, we're so progressive in that fact we're helping other poor countries." The poor countries have decided, "Fuck this, man! They're trying to fucking shaft us."
Yeah, a lot of people knew that for many years, and yet they're still doing it.
Did you hear the thing with Pakistan, the Chinese missiles they got from that they gave Pakistan, right? Pakistan fired them, they realized they don't even fucking work. And India's going to be dissected. India was able to get their hands on one of their missiles. They're going to dissect it and see their technology.
Well, that's something, alright.
Will Africa ever unite as one nation?
Africa.
Yes.
I've heard there's many African nations wanting to unite, but the likelihood of all African nations to unite is going to take a lot more decades than we think it will take.
The African nation, the people that really run Africa, and I mean really run Africa, they will never let that happen.
Oh
They'd
no,
be
they
absolutely
won't.
fucking dumb to let that happen. We already
Who
think,
does,
in my view, I think Africa should have been split up even more.
who does really run Africa?
There's a very big family that really runs most of the cobalt mines and frickin' Zimbabwe and Nigeria. You got to realize, lots of colonial families. When Britain left, Britain gave them independence, right? They gave the local government independence, but all that land all that land was owned by certain people, right? So they gave the local government independence, but who really owns all that land? Don't get me wrong. The king still owns a shitload of land. The Crown Corporation still owns a shitload of land in Canada.
They
Still
sure
owns a
do.
shitload of land in South Africa. But there's other families that own land in Africa as well. But yeah. The question is, Eric, who really owns all of the land in America? Because do you really think all that land is really owned by America? The government, don't get me wrong, the government owns a decent amount of land
But not
over the
enough.
years. But there's a lot more land that's owned by private individuals, and guess who those private individuals probably are? English. And the Crown. Did you hear about the Florida park thing, right? With Bob Iger, right? And DeSantis. He invoked a clause with the king. Look it up. Bob Iger, Walt Disney, and it initiates contract clause with the king, King Charles. Yes, Disney sidesteps DeSantis with royal clause. A board picked Florida governor to oversee Disney's Orlando theme park says it has been neutered by last-minute contract with royal clause. Disney ran the district for over half a century until Florida legislator, but the new board says its authority has been bypassed by restrictive covenants that cite King Charles I. We're going to have to deal with it. Correct it, board member. The fact that they used a clause with the king. And that is an ancient clause, which basically invokes the right of the king's family, right? Of the next of kin. So even if Charles dies, it basically goes all the way down to Charles's heirs that are basically to his stay. So basically Charles and his children, until they run out. If it's a monarchy, those children will never go out. Unless they get murdered, like that. So what do you guys think of Saskatchewan and Alberta joining America?
Well, we have to wait and see how that goes. But what it looks like, it's going to be quite exciting times to see how people in Alberta or Saskatchewan are wanting to join the US.
Well, Carney and his government basically said they're still going with the No Pipelines Act. So they're not going to build oil. You build oil. I can't see that. I cannot see that rolling well with the Albertans. Can you?
No. Albertans were not like that.
That'll piss them off even more.
Yes, now they really want to join the United States.
Yes. We are not going to allow oil. They've been voiced and fucked over by a liberal government. The last, Trudeau's been in power since 2015, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Or is it earlier than that?
It could be as early as 2013, but somewhere in the early 2010s, he has been Prime Minister.
The UK, guess how long the Tories were in power for?
14.
Way longer than that. Was it 2008 that Cameron got elected?
I think it was 2009, roughly.
2009, and they didn't change out. 2009 to effectively, what was it, 2024 or something?
Yeah, it was 2024.
2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. That's like near almost 20 years. God. Do you want to know what's fucking even worse, mate?
What?
The SNP have been in power since 2004. Yes, it's kind of hard, and yet they still blame fucking Scotland. Yet they still blame Westminster. Like, dude, take accountability. You've been in power for fucking near 30 years. God, been in power near since as long as the freaking internet. And you want to know the ironic thing? Even after all this shite, they're still going to be in power. The next election. That's the reason why I don't want to fucking leave Scotland. I don't want to leave the UK. Because if we were, we'd be a permanent liberal government. And the only reason why we're like this is simply because of the fucking voting patterns. All the votes are in the fucking cities. And the countryside is being outvoted. It's wrong. Just like New York. New York City. The state of New York. We're like the same as them. So what else is new?
Okay, there was a news story I just got up.
Oy.
Yes, indeed.
Should we change the national anthem of Great Britain?
What's the need to change?
I think it's boring, and we could change it. I would change it to Rule Britannia.
I'd say why not?
Doesn't mention the king as much. That's
Fair
why.
enough.
That, and it talks more about. And it talks. I think it means a lot more to the British and Scottish people and Welsh people as well, because it brings memories of the old empire. But yeah. So how long do you think it'll be until Stormer's ousted? A year, 2? Do you think he'll get cooed by his own ministers?
Maybe.
Were you
And
expecting him to turn and fake pretend to turn to the right? Or do you think are you as blindsided as the left was when it came to that?
what do you mean?
When he basically said he was going to lurch to the right, we basically said we need to risk being an island of strangers. Did you expect him to turn to that after the freaking election loss? Or were you?
Well, to be honest, on one hand, I was kind of expecting he was going to gear himself over to that side because of the pressure with reform. But on the other hand, I was not thinking he would even go that far, given the pressure that has even happened in the local election this year. It's about pandering the vote. It doesn't matter about the supporter base. It's about trying to get majority of the country on board with the current government. But no one's not going to fall for that.
No one's not going to fall. He's basically just freaking sent these people to the freaking slaughterhouse, because he's basically just sent people to the Lib Dems and the Greens, and some to the Reform, but mostly it'll be to the Lib Dems and Greens. Who do you think Stormer's base is? Who do you think Reform's base is? Is it more Labour or is it more Tory? Or is it a bit middle of the both, between both?
I think it's a bit of both.
Supposedly Rupert Lowe's starting his new party. How much of effect do you think that'll have on literally the local on the next election?
Well, I will say that whatever Rupert Lowe's new party would be, it's going to get a strong supporter base, but I don't think that the support that would grow from it would be enough to actually impact Reform's rise, or maybe the Tories or Labour or other.
Is it a risk that Labour could stay in power?
It's a slight risk for Labour to remain in government.
Even with as much as I like Rupert Lowe, I would not be backing his new party. I cannot. I'm putting country above party. I cannot. The country cannot do with another fucking 5 years of this forecasted Labour government. But it's anti-oil, anti-health, anti-pensioner, anti-freaking student, and basically anti-British. Don't get me wrong. I don't think Nigel will do much either, but I think he's a better direction what we've got now.
What other choices there are?
UKIP will never, as much as they love it, as much as there's small amounts of people that might vote UKIP, right? They're not like Reform. They're not going to be able to rise. The things that Nicholas Tasconi is talking about will never gain traction in Britain. The public's not for it. So what's next?
Well, where do I begin?
When your job is at risk, you have to laugh extra hard at your boss's jokes.
Oh yeah.
Did you? What's her name again? The finance secretary.
No, honestly, I probably would not still. I would probably not laugh at my boss's jokes.
So this person, right? What's their name again? That lady that basically effed up the financial statements. Financial Minister, Chancellor Exchequer.
Rachel Reeves?
Yes, she's laughing like a hyena at Starmer's jokes. It's not even funny. Whereas basically, what is with the UK humour in that, and the UK politicians, they all make a mockery of each other with the whole jabs. It's just weird and sad. It's like a whole fucking pantomime.
I think it's a coping mechanism to combat whatever hate they're getting from people with opposing
Figures
views.
for the first 3 months of the year show the UK is now the fastest growth in the G7. But let's put that into fucking perspective. What's going on in France, what's going on in Germany, what's going on in Paris, and what's going on in America. The fact that literally, they're trying to paint this out like this is a good thing. Oh, we're the fastest growing in the country. Yes. But
at what cost?
What are the fucking other countries doing to fuck up that badly for us to be doing well? It's like the freaking soccer team. It's like the Germans' soccer team. We came in second place in the freaking Euros. So that means our freaking 10 teams are almost as good as us. And there's one team that is more better than us. So we all failed. We didn't get anything. We didn't get first. We didn't get second or third. Because second and third means basically all it means at the end of the day is loser. Loser number 2 and not loser number 3. It seems like there's a lot of women talking about like why that no men are approaching them anymore. Why do you think that is?
How do I put it in a way that isn't? No, what the heck? I might as well say it. Look, okay. The reason why there is an epidemic in women and men not being in a relationship.
This is all around the world. This is China, this is Asia, this is basically Japan, this is freaking America, this is the UK, Canada, this is the Middle East, for fuck's sake, as well. This is based the entire around the world. So continue.
All right, yeah. So from what I've seen globally, the reason why there isn't much relationships and of course not much generations of family is because there is a division between the men and the women. We're hearing about a lot more about the standards or what a woman wants in a man, and because there aren't enough men of such high standards, most of these women are just going to be miserable and
Like
also
women
lonely because they have
equality.
high standards for what a man
Long
should
story,
be, but there isn't a man like
long
that.
story, long story short, women are pretty much women have high egos and they're up their own rear ends and they can't lower their.
You're gonna shut it.
It's like that's pretty much what it is, man. It's like most women can't lower their standards to save their lives, bro. They're up their own rear ends. It's sad.
It's not wrong. They are. You're right.
It ain't. You know, all they have to do is like come up with reasonable standards and
That and
just
they don't want to that, and I don't think they really want to fucking approach you because quite honestly, they're scared they'll get a fucking sexual lawsuit.
sure. That's true. That's
That's
true.
another thing. Most men these days are just too scared to talk to women because they don't want to go to jail because of something that what a woman thought they did, which it didn't actually happen.
That and number
That is
two,
concerning.
the men can barely afford to live as it is because women. Not only here's the metric of work now. We now have to compete against migrants. We now have to compete against women. We now have to increase against other males and other women from other countries. And now they want to make it so we have to compete against actual living children.
Well, why? Why am I
Why?
competing against the
In
children?
certain parts of your fucking country, Eric, they want to fucking allow children to work. So not only are grown-ass adults having to compete against children, foreigners, illegals, women, and other women from other countries, and other men from other countries,
I'm not gonna
next you're
compete
going to be
against.
telling me, oh, we have to compete against aliens.
I'm not gonna compete
I mean
against.
actual aliens, not freaking illegal aliens.
I'm not gonna compete. I'm not gonna lie. Speaking of illegal aliens, I actually saw one at work today. Like he was after the war.
Wouldn't
And
surprise me. Would not surprise me. Companies are cheap, different world. So what countries, do you think certain countries will be colonized again?
Debatable.
Does it look like the UK will be colonized again?
Not in the way you think it would be.
So what other way is there to think about it then?
Well, we're living through it right now.
Yes, we are. I mean, Islamic colonization. Heck, I'm not gonna lie, I don't hate Asians. I quite like them. I like
honestly,
Asians. But quite honestly, the thing is, I don't want to be conquered by Muslims. Yeah.
that's fair. That's fair. By Muslims.
But I do agree in the fact that it was the right thing to do of America to allow the African people to come to America. I do think it was a good thing, and it was the right thing to do.
What?
But the sad part is that America's doing what the British should have done. We should have taken those people in. They are our former fucking countrymen.
Taking the Africans in?
Afrikaner.
Ah, okay, gotcha.
The white Africans, because they are British. Most of them. Well, they came from Dutch and Germany, and probably a lot of them came from Britain. The thing is, we took in a lot of South Africans.
That is true. Would have made more sense too.
Yeah. 2 million immigrants could get British citizenship next year.
Oh wow, really?
That's too much. Just
2 million.
how many election votes in our local elections, Eric? Some of them are quite honestly just 1,000 votes.
Really?
Yeah. In some elections, it's only 1,000 votes in local councils.
Hmm.
So if they literally get in, they could fucking manipulate the vote, make them permanently fucking liberal.
Wow. Yeah, that is not good. Million immigrants. That's insane.
Why is our PM love the EU?
Because the EU is where the elites make the moolah most of the time.
God, I freaking hate the EU. Never met a more freaking scumbaggish group of fucking elites. And the fact that literally Poland's warned, did you hear the thing about Poland? The fact that it's warning the fact that their election could be compromised.
Really?
Because if the EU doesn't, if the candidate that the EU wants doesn't get in, they'll just rig the election.
And
Like
have
they did
another
in
election.
Romania.
And the thing is, even if there is another election that needs to be run again,
It'll still favour it'll be the guy that they want.
it's likely going to be the same case for Romania. There could be more people to the right than would be on the left, or whatever side people are wanting these days.
People want the right, but the libs want left because it means that they're going to be puppets and they're going to be anti-Trump people. The EU would have you believe it all. The European EU people of the EU would have you believe that we all fucking hate Trump, but we don't. EU's just racist.
Personally, I don't like nor dislike him. I'm pretty neutral when it comes to Trump.
Like, I don't think he's perfect, but I think he's not. But I don't think he's that. I don't think he's that bad. He's done things. Don't get me wrong. He's done things that I disagree with. I don't think taking the jet from the Middle East, from Qatar. I don't think that was a good fucking move. Well, that's just going to give the left more ammunition on you.
But the thing is, Trump didn't have much of a choice. The DOJ, or I forgot what the other was, but I know that DOJ had to somehow approve whether or not to take the gift of the Qatari plane from the Qatari prince.
Yeah. The other one is number 3. I agree on the fact that I think Trump. The only thing I disagree with Trump is I think he should have went harder on China. I think he should have went fucking harder on them. We're close to fucking crippling those Chinese bastards. I mean the CCP. I don't mean everyday Chinese person. I love the Chinese people. I think they're nice people. I have nothing bad to say against them. They're hardworking. I gloriously want to see the CCP fall, like most of them. Most of their freaking citizens, I want to see the CCP fall, and them they actually get fucking representative democracy, or at least open it up to the point where they have 2 parties, and there's actually an illusion of fucking free. Personally, like similar things with Russia and that, where there's a secondary party and people get choice. So what's going on with Russia? Will they lose territory? Do you think they'll stay the power they are? Will Russia fall? A while ago you said they would. What changed?
What do you mean?
I think a couple of years you said that ago you would see that Russia might break up potentially.
I'm talking about like the autonomous regions.
Yes.
But as the current state of Russia will stay as it is, but the only breakaway we'll see is in the indigenous minorities, like the tribes that live within Russia. They would ask for more autonomy, but no matter how much they ask for the autonomy, they're not going to get it. In fact, a couple of years ago, they did have that kind of autonomy, but Putin was like, "Now let's get rid of that and just make all the oblasts equal governance or autonomy." And just after that.
They have the local governments, but they all vote for Putin at the end of the day. They all vote for their local leader. They can have their local autonomy and they'd be treated like their own district and that, but you will be you'll be part of the country. Are we in play to see Greater America?
Greater America?
Yes. Will it happen on our watch? Is America going to expand as the way things stand now?
I think America is going to remain as it is.
So you don't think they're going to get Greenland?
No, probably not.
You don't think America's going to get some Arctic territory?
Well, if people of Greenland want to join America, then that is most likely. But otherwise,
they don't get a choice. For national security reasons, it needs to be under Americans' control. Just like we need to fucking take back parts of it, just as we need for national security reasons, we need to take back parts of fucking South Africa. Mainly the Cape Cod, the Cape Cod trade route. In reality, we should have never given them independence. We'll give inside and part of certain seats. So what else is there?
Canadian Prime Minister dashes Starmer's hopes of proceeding failed migrants abroad. Britain is poised to enter formal talks with as many as 9 countries about plans to deport failed asylum seekers after being publicly spurned by Albania. The Prime Minister said during a trip to the country that Britain was planning to send asylum seekers to quote-unquote return hubs in foreign countries after
I wouldn't do return hubs. I would just send them back to fucking Africa. If they try and enter this country illegally, here's what I'd do. I'd give them the free count. I'd tell you, go back. Go back again. Go back 3 times. If they don't fucking use force. On the 4th attempt, if they try again, Shoot them. You enter the country illegally, shot. You don't know who the fuck you are. You could be a fucking armed. Shoot. The whole British Empire would never put up with this. We would have fucking shot them straight on sight. And you know this. I know this. Even Eric knows this. We need to go back to our roots. Back to the British Empire. Back to what we used to be. Strong, hard badasses that took no shit. They would have never tried this shit under the British Empire because they knew what was what. No, we were the master and they were the slave. They forget that.
They won't know until it's too late.
Thing is, these people in Africa that come to this country think they've had it too good. So what else is there? Or is that us?
I'd say there is more.
Okay, good. I have no ambition to be Prime Minister, but should the day come, I swear I will do this in my underwear. I don't think I want to see that.
What?
Neither do I.
This is coming from a woman, right? Her name
Okay.
is Charlie Bentley Astor.
You said she'll become Prime Minister in underwear?
Though I have no ambition to be Prime Minister, but should that day come, I swear I'll do this in my underwear.
I'll do this in my underwear.
Life wants to see his.
Is he attractive at least?
Yes, kinda. She's an Astor, Eric. She's not that ugly. Astor.
Okay,
She's someone from the Astor family.
gotcha.
Or either that, supposedly someone from the Astor family, but she's put in the name Charlie Bentley Astor.
Gotcha. Some people would prefer to keep their original.
Yes,
brand.
some people would. Yeah. Don't think they are. We've got two.
Alibaba shares dropped 5% in pre-market trading after big profit miss.
Well, people are probably going to share. I wouldn't be surprised if freaking. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Is the EU just a rebranch of the Nazi Party?
Oh, you shouldn't have said that.
I shouldn't have said that.
You said too much, mate. You said too much.
Are you gonna get me? Am I gonna get killed off now?
Oh no, you're not. No, it's not that far, but I'm just
So
saying.
there is something to this.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. There is something.
So Hitler went to Argentina.
Well,
He
who
did die in
who
that
doesn't know
bunker.
that? Well, who doesn't know that?
Wait, so Hitler survived?
Yes, went to Argentina, had a child.
He changed his name too, huh? Shaved off his mustache.
Yes, he shaved off his mustache. He died
Got
in
it.
1960s. He had a child. He had 2 children
Huh?
You know, actually,
I
that
mean-
does make sense now.
That does honestly make sense. I mean, like,
called Unya or Usha.
are they alive today?
I think one of them is, and they have descendants.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was thinking that would be the case because
There's people saying supposedly that Angela Merkel was potentially one of his daughters' descendants.
I'm pretty sure.
And Theresa May was one of them as well, supposedly. But I don't know if that's true.
like-
it is a stretch, but anything's possible.
I feel like knowing what they know, they would want to distance themselves from Hitler, even if it was true.
They wouldn't, though, because people would not know Eva von Braun supposedly survived as well.
Very, very interesting.
Yes. And the Argentine president said there's evidence that Hitler might have lived in Argentina for a while.
I mean, hey, the hitman.
Yes. There's also rumors about Goebbels. Who do you think was the person that helped rebuild the EU?
Hitler.
Was it Hitler? Who's the second in command? Wasn't it boring? Yeah, he took most of the money that the Nazis party had, and he slowly but surely bought influence in other things to help other politicians on the outside. The EU wasn't born from legit means; it was bought by investors. Like everything was bought. The politicians that ran the EU, politicians that there supported the EU, they were slowly but surely bought by these investors.
Honestly,
Like Jamie said, it was a rebrand of the Nazi Party.
it really is amazing how, like, in the year 2025, Hitler is, I mean, although you don't have to agree with the guy Hitler is like, regular conversation without it being taboo. It is amazing. Legitimately, the veil has been, like, just torn on that whole thing. It's like, now we're just talking about Hitler like it's nothing. Something, but it's also nothing, because at the end of the conversation is nothing unless you make it something.
Yes, once that has become something,
They're trying, supposedly, a mass campaign is underway to undermine my country's reputation and whitewash Nazis. During the Holocaust Remembrance Day, event where even UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres hesitated to say who exactly liberated Auschwitz. An EU official avoided using the word Nazism and did not utter the word fascism altogether. Instead, he called Nazi Germany an authoritarian state, just as if as they are referring to Russia and the People's Republic of China and several other countries represented here today. This attempt is to erode and erase historical truths, calculated effort to coalesce the West around this narrative. We will not allow this to happen. So what else is there?
Let's just say Coinbase offers $20 million bounty after insider-driven data breach.
Coinbase.
Yep, Coinbase, the largest US cryptocurrency exchange, announced on May 15th, 2025, a cyber attack resulting in customer data theft at a potential cost up to $400 million. The attack occurred after criminals bribed overseas contractors and employees to access personal data, then demanded a $20 million ransom, which Coinbase refused to pay. Hackers used stolen data to impersonate Coinbase support and trick some customers into sending funds, prompting Coinbase to promise reimbursements and implement remedial measures.
Very, very interesting. What are your thoughts on that, John May?
Well, it'd be unfortunate for someone to have fallen for that.
Yeah, it'd be very unfortunate. So, is there anything else in the news?
There should be.
Interesting. The platform, one of the platforms I do investing with, right, is now went public.
Cool.
Interesting.
But I'm just reading a message, basically supposedly reading a message from the CEO, founder and CEO, sent it to basically all the people that have money invest. Well, I'm not a shareholder in the platform, but I do have investments. Some of my investments on the platform just went public today. Started in 2007 by a brother. Interesting. Okay, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there.
Is there anything else in the news?
Not much.
Let's see.
I'm searching right now.
Well, it's a good thing for the IPO market, I suppose. God, it listed in the US.
First up at Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
Shut down for his special visit. The first time it has ever been closed for anyone in history. Historic moment, according to Caroline.
I told you, Saudi Arabia, Dubai is becoming more Western.
I'm not gonna lie.
Where the UK is where the UK is becoming more a Muslim fucking fuckturn state. The Middle East is fucking embracing Western values. Yet the Western countries are embracing Islam, which is quite sad.
Yes, how the turns of table.
Fuck Islam. Middle East is open up to the world, while the West is basically.
Man, I will say this. It's
You hear this? BP is supposedly looking to be acquired.
By who?
For our oil and gas majors. I personally would never allow it. Scrutiny. I personally would never allow that acquisition. I will never allow that acquisition. I'm a shareholder in BP and I would never allow that acquisition to happen. It's a national security risk if BP goes. We need it for national security. British Petroleum needs to be British Petroleum. So what else is new?
US YouTuber Mr. Beast sparks controversy by filming at Mexico's archaeological sites. YouTuber Mr. Beast published a video on May 10th showing his visits to several important archaeological sites in Mexico, including Chichen Itza and Calakmul. The controversy arose because Mr. Beast was allowed access to sacred and restricted areas of these sites, with permissions requested by Mexican tourism and state governments, not by him. Mexico's Institute of Anthropology and History confirmed that the visits were officially authorized through proper procedures and monitored by their staff, although certain aspects of the video content were disputed.
Apple's brand value is 10.7 trillion. Do you think we'll ever get to the point where people are worth tens of trillions of dollars?
Yes, but not for many years. Not for a few more years. Actually, many years. Actually.
Who do you think will be the first richest billionaire to reach $1 trillion?
Well, it's not about who or what makes them a trillionaire.
What do you think will make them a trillionaire? In what ways is he talking?
Space mining, if that's the thing.
Oh, it will be a thing. Why do you think that Tesla will probably get into that at some point?
Because there aren't enough resources on Earth, so they might as well just try go to space, find some asteroids, extract resources out of the asteroids, and then bring it back to Earth.
Do you think we'll ever get to the point where we're going to have do you think Britain will ever get to the point where it colonizes countries abroad? Or do you think our days of colonizing are over?
I think the days of colonization, as we know it, is over.
So you're telling me we're not going to be colonizing foreign planets?
I mean, that's still up for grabs.
So you're telling
However,
me Britain won't create colonies in space?
not as much as what NASA or SpaceX would be doing.
So you're telling me America's not going to want put their plant their little flag on the moon?
Well, even
Or
if they
plant their
want,
little flag on Mars?
well, even if they want to, there's a thing called the Antarctic Treaty, and because of negotiations with that many countries with the abilities to go explore wherever, they're going to be cautious about how they're going to, quote, colonize other planets and what is constituted as.
Jamie, you and me both know that treaty's a load of fucking shite and nobody actually abides by it. It's an old treaty from the old world that no longer exists.
But why hasn't then any form of foreigners that aren't scientists in Antarctica?
Because people want to keep the status quo.
And what is the status quo?
Things as they are, where the point where they don't rock the boat. But even at some point, America is going to want to fucking create colonies in the Arctic. Right? They can't get Greenland. They're going to fucking break the Arctic Treaty, and they'll split it part. They'll split part of the treaty. They'll split part of that land with Britain, and Australia, and they'll allow Australia to do it. You remember that America and Britain are the two who control the world, right? Britain keeps Australia and other colonies that are basically under it, and the Commonwealth in control. So what is the Commonwealth?
It is an alliance, diplomatic alliance.
In reality, how much power does the Crown actually have on the Commonwealth?
As much power as it does through the state of the United Kingdom.
So you're telling me the Crown has no power in the Commonwealth?
At best, it's just influence and a
Is
figurehead.
that what you're saying? It's just influence. I thought you would say that on the surface it looks like it's just influence, but on the ground floor, there's a lot more power to it.
Oh, there is more power to it, but it doesn't come from the head of state. It comes
So where
down.
does it come? Does it control from the fact that we own most of our leaders, or where does it come from?
The reason why the Commonwealth was created is so that when British colonies do become independent, the United
They're subservient to the Commonwealth.
Yes,
And Britain.
They keep strong ties with its former colonies even after they gain independence. And by having...
So basically like some form of Stockholm syndrome.
Yes. There's no other way to describe it.
I still can't believe that's a thing.
Well, there you go.
Do you think there's some of those countries that would like to rejoin Britain?
Well, besides Hong Kong...
You don't say it's part of South Africa?
Maybe South Africa, for sure.
And Zimbabwe.
Maybe Zimbabwe.
Djibouti, Jamaica. Is Singapore part of the Commonwealth?
Good question. I know it was once a British colony, but I think...
I know we still keep big ties with them, though.
I'd be surprised if Singapore isn't part of the Commonwealth, because...
Malaysia and Indonesia.
No, not Indonesia. I think that was a Dutch colony.
Yes, which we ruled for a while.
Yeah, for a while then. But it wasn't long enough to have the connection.
What about Malaysia?
I think Malaysia was mostly British at one point.
India, Pakistan,
Yes.
Bengal,
yes.
Nepal.
Maybe.
What was it? The Hermit Kingdom of the Dragon Kingdom of Bhutan?
Bhutan, yeah.
Is that a Commonwealth?
No, Bhutan is not a Commonwealth nation.
Should be.
It could be, but it's not.
Japan?
No. I don't think so.
So what is is the CPTP basically another way for America to extract influence out of foreign countries and make them vassal states?
Well, how else would it be?
Are we just boiling down to all free trade is basic free trade is effectively just creating vassal territories?
Yes, a trifecta, you might call.
Is that the reason why Britain was so pro-free trade? Because it was an easy way to ensnare countries?
Well, whatever keeps them under the strings.
Yes, if you have to dangle a tiny little carrot. Was it wise for us to let America go?
Yes.
Why?
If you think about it,
To be fair, let's be real here, let's be agnostic. The lands that we allowed America to have at the time, their lands were dying because, quite honestly, it was because of certain techniques we were doing with farming. They basically fuck the land, and partly the other reason is that they had we signed some weird treaties with the fucking Aboriginal natives on the other side of America, 13 colonies, where we couldn't effectively colonize them, but when the the 13 colonies formed the United States, they were under none of those treaties, and they could effectively do what they wished. You could say that Britain allowed them to colonize them, those lands, and create settlements. For the extract benefit of, is America still invested? Is the UK still invested in America to this day?
mostly, yes.
Did
But
we
not.
sell any of our assets in America?
I wouldn't know about that.
Do you think a lot of the people that ran American back then from Britain, do you think a lot of them moved over after World War II? Or even before?
Probably not, because why would they want to move back into countries that were in wars of conflict?
No, I mean the people that ran the country after the war, those wars happened, right? They ran the countries. They saw the state of the UK and it declining, as you know it did. And they thought, why the hell would we stay here? Why not move to America where there's opportunity for us to grow and leave a legacy for our children?
Yeah, that would most likely.
There's a lot of very wealthy people that left after World War One and never came back. E.g., the people at the Man of Mars. Did you know what Mars, the Man of Mars, right? Not the Man of Mars, the son of the founder of Mars, right? He moved to Britain, right? And he built a corporation, built his own company, right? Built his own chocolate. He created Maltesers, and he effectively created. I think he created the Galaxy bar. It's him and his father that created Mars, the Mars bar. He moved over to Britain because he had a falling out with his father. His father then passed away. He then ended up building up his company, right? His his father's second wife took over the company and didn't want to change anything. The son of the Mars founder decided, I want to take back my family. They fought him tooth and fucking nail. He had to watch that company almost go bankrupt before they finally signed over control to the bloke. And this is the guy at the side of the freaking pet food brands, right? Or Harriet's and Pedigree, right? Those brands came from him. He bought them, and built them. He got Mars into the canned food business, the dog food business. He's the guy that diversified and created Ben's Rice. And he eventually, when he passed away, he passed it on to his sons, who basically still running the business to this day. And then their sons, and so on. So what else is that? Was that us?
I think that is us.